Yeah, then we can start.
Yeah, thank you, Arvind. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar conducted by Proinception about K2 mobile forms. Okay, so we can see attendees from different places. Thank you all for joining. Okay, so basically we are going to see about the K2 5.9 mobile capabilities. Okay, so here I have Mr. Vishen and Saurav from Proinception, who are the K2 experts and low-code experts, ready to explain about the mobile capabilities and also provide a demo for you. Okay, so this is me, the first one, Abdul Muttalib from Proinception, and you can see Saurav and Vishen, who is going to give a good presentation today to explain how we can use the new 5.8 mobile capabilities for the mobile forms. Okay. All right. So I hope everyone here, if they are the K2 developer, would have definitely developed K2 applications, K2 forms that is used in a desktop. But definitely there are some scenarios where you have to use your form, you have to open your form using a mobile or any other handheld device. You also would have experienced that the great layout that you created that looks very good in the desktop looks really collapsed in the mobile. Okay, so because it is not a responsive design. So now in K2 5.9, we have capabilities to overcome that challenge. So that is what we are going to discuss today. Today agenda would be, as you can see here, so we will talk about the mobile challenge, and then we will see a live demo for the responsive K2 forms. And we will also talk about the CSS and media query support that K2 5.9 offers, and with the implementation guide. And then at the end, we will open the session for Q&A. We will try to answer as much question as possible. Okay. So now let me request Mr. Vishen to share his screen and explain about mobile forms and also provide a demo followed by that. Okay, thank you everyone. Over to you, Vishen.
Hi, everyone. Vishen here. Yeah, I'm part of the development team here at Proinception. Just a quick background of myself. I've been working with K2 for close on almost 10 years now. Yeah, still going strong, still new features being released. And yeah, it's my pleasure to take you through today through some of the new features released in K2 version 5.9 to do with the mobile devices and smartphones. Some challenges that we have had with the two in the past, which I'm sure most of you are also familiar with. Let me just go to the next slide. Okay, the first one here covers the mobile challenge in K2, which I just briefly touched on as well. Just a quick highlight on this slide. When we talk about digital transformation, mobile access is no longer a luxury, which I'm sure most of you can agree with. It's actually now an expectation as we move forward in the world. But one of the challenges we face with K2 smartphones is that it was originally designed with the desktop first mindset. What this means is simple. Forms that work beautifully on a large screen often become very difficult to use on a smaller screen once we switch to a mobile phone or a tablet, for example. Layouts can break. Users may need to scroll sideways on their mobile devices, and completing even a simple form can most of the time feel very frustrating. We also run into some other problems, such as touch interaction challenges. Sometimes the buttons appear too small on mobile devices. Controls can overlap. Elements are not always optimized for fingers instead of the traditional mouse pointer. On top of that, built-in styling can sometimes conflict with custom mobile-friendly designs, making responsive layouts harder to achieve. And finally, even within the mobile workspace experience, forms are often rendered much like their desktop versions, rather than being truly adapted for mobile use. The good news is that this challenge also creates an opportunity as well. By recognizing these limitations, we can design smarter solutions, solutions that are responsive, intuitive, and built for how people actually work today, on the move, on any device, at any time. And that's just a brief highlight on the slide that I've just covered, which touches on the traditional mobile challenges that we've all faced within K2 before. So it's not anything new, I would think, to most of the people. And I'm sure that a lot of you also understand exactly what I'm talking about. I'll move on to the next slide that I have here as well. So in K2 5.9, we have something new. We have a component called CSS and media query support. This is where we can do quite a lot of the magic that we have designed this session for. We can create our normal traditional forms, but we can also enhance how these forms are rendered on mobile devices, on tablets. These forms can be a lot more responsive, look a lot better, interact a lot better, and just make our end users at the end of the day happier to work with them and not so frustrated as before. So this slide, what K2 5.9 unlocks. Now, while the previous slide highlighted the challenges that we spoke about, this slide improves on the challenges because K2 5.9 gives us some of the tools which we can use to solve these challenges. One of the biggest improvements in K2 5.9 is support for modern CSS and media queries. This means we can now design forms that automatically adapt to the screen size being used, whether that's a mobile phone, a tablet, or a desktop computer. For example, on a small mobile screen, content can stack neatly, spacing can be reduced, buttons can become touch-friendly, and layouts can resize to fit naturally. On tablets, we can create a slightly richer layout, and on desktop, we can still maintain the full user experience that we are all familiar with. What's powerful is that we no longer need to design one form for desktop and a different form for mobile. We can create one intelligent, responsive design that adjusts itself based on the device being used. This gives us greater control over styling, allows us to override built-in K2 styles where needed, and ultimately helps us build forms that feel modern, polished, and easy to use everywhere. So at a high level, the message here is simple. K2 5.9 moves us from fixed forms to flexible experiences. And that opens the door to truly mobile-friendly smartphones. That was just this slide in a nutshell as well. I'll move on to the next one. This is just a simple comparison with before and after with this media query support released in K2 version 5.9. So just to explain a bit on this slide, I want to show the practical impact of what we've just discussed. What changes when we apply responsive CSS to K2 forms? On the left-hand side of the slide, we see the traditional experience without CSS optimization. Forms are built with fixed widths, which means on a mobile phone, users have to scroll sideways just to see the full form. Buttons and click areas are often too small, making touch interaction difficult. Multi-column layouts become cramped and unreadable. Labels can overlap fields, and controls like date pickers or drop-downs may even render off-screen. In short, the experience feels very frustrating and outdated. Now on the slide, look at the right-hand side. This is what becomes possible with responsive CSS in K2 version 5.9 onwards. The form becomes fluid, using the full width of the screen naturally, with no horizontal scrolling needed. Buttons can become larger and appear touch-friendly. Complex multi-column layouts intelligently collapse into clean single-column stacks on smaller devices, making everything easier to read and interact with. Labels have proper spacing, fields align correctly, and controls stay within the visible screen area. The big takeaway here is we're not changing what the form does. We're changing how comfortably people can use the form. And that's important because when forms are easier to use, completion rates improve, user frustration level drops, and the overall digital experience becomes far more professional. So again, on the slide, we saw what was possible before and what is possible now. Just a brief overview of what is possible. I'll move on to the next slide. This is just a basic implementation guide that we have created now, just to briefly take the users through how we can implement what we are talking about with the cascading style sheets and the custom CSS to be used for the media queries. So if we look at this slide, we can walk through the implementation guide for responsive K2 forms. It's a simple structured approach that ensures our forms look great and work seamlessly across all devices. We start on step 1, identify target forms. This is where we take stock of which forms are most used on mobile, especially those accessed through the K2 Workspace app. It's about prioritizing impact, so we identify these forms first. Step 2, we create an external style sheet. Here we build a dedicated responsive CSS file using media breakpoints. This gives us flexibility and control over how our form adapts to different screen sizes on the different mobile devices. Step 3, we link our CSS in the traditional K2 form designer. This is the technical connection, integrating our style sheet directly into K25's form designer. From version 5.9 onwards, this step is fully supported, making it smooth and reliable. Step 4, once our CSS style sheet is integrated into our form, we test this across devices. We use browser dev tools and real mobile devices to validate the experience. It's not just about functionality. It's about ensuring a consistent, user-friendly design in both portrait and landscape modes. Finally, step 5, we deploy and monitor. Once live, we gather feedback, we can track completion rates, we can also refine our CSS. This continuous improvement loop helps us deliver polished, professional forms that truly serve our users. In short, this guide isn't just a checklist. It's basically a roadmap for quality and collaboration. Each step builds on the last one, helping us create responsive, accessible, and future-ready K2 forms. So this was just a general implementation guide that we walked through the top points on the slide. Yeah, it's quite basic. I'm sure it made sense to everyone. I'll skip and move on to the next one. Here we have a sample of the CSS media query that we have been talking about. So with this sample of how we can use the CSS media query within our style sheet to have more control over the rendering of smart forms on different mobile devices. As you can see with this sample example, we can target specific mobile devices like tablets or smartphones using the max width tag. This will override the styling on the different devices. Please note, this is just a basic example, and much more styling can be achieved through style sheets. So with this slide, we're just showing a basic view of what is possible and what can be done. There's much more that can also be added into our style sheets to make our forms even better. Okay, I would now like to show just a brief overview of what I've been speaking to you guys about. So let me change my screen here. One second. Sorry about that. My VM just needs to be reloaded quickly. Just give me a minute to sort that out.
Okay, so while Vision is checking the VM, maybe we can use this time to check if any attendees has question about um, what Vision explained so far. So let me unmute the audience. Give me a moment. Mm, okay, I have difficulty in unmute. Can you please post your question in Q&A section? You can find that in the Teams on the top section. So there is a Q&A icon. You can click on that. Then you can type a question. Let me just put a hi message there so you can reply to that. Okay, so you can see my message in the Q&A section. So you are welcome to post your question. We will try to answer that. Let me also check with another speaker, Saurav. If Saurav, what about your side? So are you able to access VM? Is it available for you now?
No, I didn't check that because Jason
We are
sir.
busy looking into it. Almost done.
Okay, no problem.
So Vision, you can take it. It is working now. VM, just go and log in now. Vision,
Yes, I'm logging in.
yeah. Yeah, Vision, can you log in on the VM now?
Yes, I'm in. I'm just opening everything that I needed here again. I'll be with you guys shortly. Just give me a few seconds. Okay, I've got it. Let me share my screen again. Apologies about that, everyone. Just when I needed my VM, I ran into an unexpected issue, but we seem to be all sorted now. Okay, my screen should be loading. You guys can see it, right? Can I get a confirmation?
Yes, the
Yeah,
screen
we
is
can see.
visible. Yeah, go ahead,
Oh,
Christian. Thank you.
okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So as we were discussing earlier, this is just a normal K2 smartphone, just a normal average smartphone, nothing special happening here as well that was created. On desktop view, you can see it looks okay. It looks good. This is how we designed it. This is what we expect. All good. What has then been happening traditionally in the past is when you render your form on a mobile device, you'll kind of see something similar to this, where you'll see it's not a very good user interface for users, lots of text being cut out, buttons and things are quite small, and when it appears on your mobile device, it's not going to be a very friendly and fun user experience for the user. So this is what we were basically talking about. That's what we all know how the old forms worked on mobile devices. Um, we did have a look in the slides before at a brief um, code snippet of how to use the media queries. So I'll share on my screen also. This is a small one that we've created here for the purposes of the demo today as well. So using the media query and the max width profile. This one is more specifically designed to tablets and larger mobile phones. But we basically now have control over the CSS and the styling layout. And that is what we basically did here. From our traditional form, which had a 4-column layout, we can convert this now into a 2-column layout using the CSS. That's what the first part is doing. The second part also talks about our cell positioning and alignment properties. So we have now power over all of these items and how we can make our form on a mobile device render differently and look a lot better and richer. So this is just a small sample that we worked with today for the purposes of our form. So small, simple things like column lining and alignment are not working very well, but we have control over this now, and we can set these items and make it just look a little bit better. So this is just a small example of the CSS style sheet that we can use, and a lot more can be done, not just all of these basic items. And what we can now see in K2 is when we go to our form, as we mentioned in the previous slides as well, before we get to the form, I want to show you the style profile. So we created the style profile as well. And if I go into the style profile, this is where the link gets made. So you can see on the left-hand side here, I have included the style sheet that I showed you guys the example of now, and I have included it into my K2 style profile. So everything that we have built in the CSS sheet is now available in this style profile. That's how we bring it into K2, into its style profile. Then we go to the smart form. And basically the same smart form that I showed you before, we now link it with, as you can see here, with the style profile that has been connected to our CSS styling sheet. And that's where the connection is made that we spoke about before from our CSS file into the K2 smart form. So we link it. And then when we run it, we can see it's the normal form. But if we try to inspect it and view it in a mobile, just want to reload this. You see, this is basically what it turned into now. So again, I can show you. This is the old one that we just had a look at now. Before applying any styling, this was what K2 was doing when you render K2 smart forms across mobile devices. Something similar to this, not very nice. And compare it to the new look that we have here now. This just looks a lot better. We have control over how it looks. It just looks a lot more user-friendly. We can see with the controls, with the text boxes, with the calendar controls, with the drop-down controls, with the buttons, it just looks a lot more neater, a lot more user-friendly. So in a nutshell, that was just how I wanted to show you guys what is capable in this very, very basic solution that we just created here. But a lot more than this can be done through our styling capabilities from K2 5.9 onwards. And yeah, I mean, it just looks a lot better for users to use. And you won't struggle as much and be frustrated as how it was before. So that was just a very quick demo. Let me go back to my slides, if I can find it. We went through this one. Yeah, this was the last one that we discussed.
Yeah, Vishan, you can continue about the K2 Workspace mobile app.
Yes. So after this one here, the next slide that we have here just basically gives you a quick introduction to the K2 Workspace mobile app. And it's basically a tool designed for users to access these K2 smartphones across their mobile devices. For iOS users, the app is available on the Apple App Store. It supports K25 version from 5.3 onwards. It comes with features like Touch ID or Face ID authentication, offline access to forms when enabled, and push notifications so you never miss an important task. The Android side, you'll find it on Google Play Store. It works on Android 8 and above, supports basic biometric authentication, allows camera and barcode scanning, and a few basic features like that. There's also MDM support across both platforms. This means organizations can roll out the app with pre-configured settings, such as server URLs, authentication modes, and even branding. So employees get a consistent, secure experience right from the start. So in short, whether you're on iOS or Android, the K2 Workspace mobile app is about giving you secure, reliable access to your smartphones and K2 workflow tasks wherever you go. It's simple, it's powerful, it's built to keep you connected. This next slide is just a screenshot, a simple screenshot example of the K2 Workspace mobile app. You can see your tasks and smart forms can be viewed and actioned here. Yeah, and then that's basically all of the theory that I basically covered today, along with a quick demo that I hope everyone saw. And yeah, that's basically it from me right now. I would like to hand over back to Mr. Abdul Muttalib, who will take you through some of the additional content that we still need to go through.
Perfect. And thank you, Vishan, for the insightful demo and explanation. And thanks to all attendees for staying here to learn new things. I would like to share a short note about Proinception. Proinception is a premium Nintex partner and specialized in low-code platform, Nintex intelligent automation, and AI-driven digital transformation. We are in the IT industry for more than 10 years, serving clients across many countries with expertise in various technologies such as K2, Nintex, UiPath, Power Platform, AI, and Copilot. Okay, so you can visit our website. In the next slide, it is given www.proinception.com, and you can also get in touch with us at automate@proinception.com, and you can also call us directly on the number displayed here. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. So now we can open the question and answer session. We already got one question from Khalid. I think we have answered that. So we can answer few more questions. We have time. So please feel free to post your question in the Q&A section. We will try to answer them. Okay, so I don't see any question now. So you can email us at automatedproinception.com with any kind of queries, okay, business query or any question about the topic we discuss in this webinar. Okay, you're most welcome to do that. So I think we got one more question now. Give me a moment. Let me check what's that. Okay, the question is the mobile view performance affected by complex rules or data-heavy forms? Absolutely, yes. The answer to that is yes, it will definitely impact. So when we design a form that should be accessible via mobile, we should be mindful about the size of the form. So we should be adding the fields only necessary and try to keep it compact. So that's the answer to the question. All right, so it's a wonderful session here. Thank you everyone, each one of you joining here, and you are most welcome to contact us in the email or the mobile phone displayed here. Okay, thank you everyone joining. We will see you again in another webinar. Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day further.